Well, welcome back to another morning in paradise, aka North Cornwall. Absolutely beautiful today. Lovely, clear skies, beaming sun, and most importantly, flat, calm seas. Look at that. Exactly what you want when you're coming out for a full day's fishing. And that's exactly what it's going to be today. Full on day. Leaving now, approaching high tide, and I'm not going to get back in for another 10 to 11 hours, so I'm stuck out in no matter what. And I'm going to make the most of it, just see what I can catch really. This is a brand new area to me. I've never fished here before from the SIB, so I really don't know what to expect, although I have an idea of what I'd like to target. I'm going to head out to some reef now and fish with some lures, maybe some live baits, and see what I can pull out. Wind's forecast to pick up a little bit throughout the day, so come afternoon I may have to shelter a bit and fish the clean ground, but we'll just wait and see what happens. But I'm not complaining at the minute because it's a stunning morning, and yeah, just can't wait to get out there and catch some fish really. Well, fish would be a bonus on a day like today, but yeah, just being out on the water is lovely. About 2 miles off from the nearest point of land now, and like I said, I've never really fished this area before, so I didn't know where the fishing is going to be good. But I can have a rough guess by looking at the ground that I'm going to be fishing over and sort of predicting what species to target. Now I like to fish over reef and sort of broken ground to target species of lures. If I was to do bait fishing, I'd probably go over clean ground, but yeah, with it being late, well, early May now, that's what I want to target really, the reef species. So I'll bring you across to the navigation deck. There we are. So that's my Garmin Striker 4, and you can see some marks there. That's probably some good fish right there, so I'm going to get down in a minute. It could be mackerel, but it could be some bigger fish, and you can see we're in 15 meters of water, and that sort of jaggedness that shows, and the sort of red and yellow, that shows that it's you know, sort of reefy and rocky. And then over here you can see the camera reflection, but that's got navionics on my phone, so I'm looking for sort of areas where there's lots of uneven bits of seabed. Here we are on the SIB, 3.7 metre with a 20 horsepower. That's what got us out here. I'm going to put you on the tripod now and talk you through the setup. Mainly focusing on lure fishing today, and that's something I do a lot of because I really enjoy it. So the lure outfit that I'm using is one, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know it well, but we'll go through it anyway. That's a 4,500 pen slammer with 25-pound braid, a quantum blue spin 20 to 80 gram rod, down to a fluorocarbon leader of 22 pound, and then fish black minnow number 4 with a I believe there's a 40 gram head on it. Fantastic weedless soft plastic. This is a natural colour khaki. We're going to send this one down first. Really good lure, will sink, you can work it on its own in the tide, bring it up and down, leave it to drift with the tide, whatever you want to do. Just a really nice versatile soft plastic that's weedless, so you don't lose too many of them. The bodies are a bit delicate, but you can just glue a new one on if it gets trashed. So we're in 17 metres of water now. I'm just free spooling it, letting it drop, feeling for the drop. Tide is really pushing us. I'd say we're moving at a good knot or so of tide. As soon as you feel it hit the bottom, a few turns up, and then I'm going to work it quite slowly today, I think. See what's happening. Just a few winds up every now and then. I'm just going to let it rise and fall. A few turns up, find where the fish are. Good chance of wrasse and pollock, this sort of fishing where you're fishing over reef with a nice bit of tidal flow. If you're really lucky, bass. Starting off on the lures, if I'm struggling with lures, what I'll do is I'll try and feather up some live baits, some small joey mackerel or even better launce, and then put them up on a floating rig, as that will tend to get the bites going if the lures are not successful. Another way of increasing your chance of a bite is changing colours of your lure sometimes. So I'm using a very natural colour pattern at the moment, that sort of silver and khaki. If that doesn't work, then I'll change to a brighter lure colour. A little bit of swell rolling in at the moment. There's not much wind. Could just be tide against wind. So yeah, we'll see how things go throughout the day. Into the first fish of the day. Doesn't feel like a particularly big one. Just took it on the retriever. I was just bringing it up. Hey, there we go. Nice little bass. Nice little schoolie bass. Swing him in. He's only small. Great way to start the day. There we go. On the fish black minnow, number 4 there. Small fish, but lovely to see nonetheless. Get him unhooked and get him straight back. The problem with these fish is they just love to spike you. Some people like to use lip grips, which I'm sure in this scenario would be a benefit. There we go, as soon as I get my hand in there, I'm fine. Schoolie bass to start the day, can't complain. Hopefully they get a little bit bigger than that though. Back he goes, let's get some more. Here's a bit of useful advice if you ever come into a new spot and you're unsure as to where to fish and where to drift. My best advice is look for other boats. You know, especially boats that are obviously from the nearest port, and fish that area a lot, because they'll know where the fish are. It's not cheating, it's making it easier for yourself. So in front of me here I've got a charter boat, and I'm not sure if it's another charter boat or a commercial rod and line boat, but I've just set myself up on the same drift as them pretty much, and with the idea that they know where the fish are, and if I follow them then I should hopefully get into a few of them. Yeah, that's my fear on it anyway, just make it a bit easier sometimes. Good fish, really good fish on the fish black minnow. Really great run there. Hey, that was a nice pollock. Here we go. That's another fish for the black minnow today. Show him to you there. There you go, lovely spring pollock. Be a little bit too small for me to keep. So back he goes. Well, that's the second species for today. A lovely fish, good fighting fish as well, that. So I'll just show you the float rig that I'm using over this reef here. It's a really basic one, and if you've done any shore fishing before, you probably recognise it. I've just got my boat rod here, so that's a 12 to 20 pound class rod with an Abu Garcia multiplier and 40 pound braid. That's quite a heavy setup really. You could go much lighter, but it's just what I've got available. Just your standard shore sort of foam float, very basic, to a barrel weight, bead, swivel, and then a good long trace, nice 6 foot of trace down to a 3/0 hook, and that's just going to go through one of these beauties. Lawrence, possibly one of the best bass baits you can get. They just smash them. All I'm going to do with him is go through the bottom jaw and try and come up through the nostril like that. Have the hook nice and proud, and I've got a stop knot or stop bead. Basically what it is a loom band. If any of you have got kids, you'll know what a loom band is. A loom band on the line, tied off to the line 10 metres along, so that the bait is only going to fish 10 metres deep, and that's about the shallowest point of the reef here, so it'll always be suspended, so I don't have to worry about changing the depth as I drift along. I can just keep that nice and constant. 10 metres is a good depth because it will approach close to the bottom points of the drift and stay nice mid-water in other points. I've just hooked into a fish on the float rod. Not too sure what it is. Feels a decent size. Could be a nice bass, you know. Coming up quite easily though. Look, what is it? See it in a minute. Yeah, that's a lovely bass, that is. Let's get her around and get her up. Here we go. Oh, I don't need the net for this. She's hanging on. Come on. Pretty big hook. Oh. Boom. Back of the net, as they say. Here we go. This is a much better fish. Much better fish. Right. Get the hook out. That just annihilated my launch bait then. There you go. Lovely bit of prime. Summer bass right there. Stunning silver. Commercial fishing boats and charter boats can be a very good sign of where there is known to be fish. But to actually find them on the day, another really useful thing is seabirds. So seagulls, gannets, cormorants, that sort of thing. When they're in large groups like this, flying around and hitting the water and making a lot of noise, that generally means they found some food, which will be smaller fish, normally like sand eels and mackerel or white bait, that sort of thing. But you know, you can guarantee the predators aren't going to be far behind. So come into an area where you see bird activity will generally result in some fish. So that's just another little tip that you can use to find fish on a new mark. Just had another take on the live bait. This feels like a better fish. Birds coming up quite easily now, but it had a hell of a run at the start. Could be a bass. That was right in amongst where those birds were feeding. Quite easily. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's a nice bass there. Hey, Moody. He's only lip hook, mind. He's only lip hooked. Get him in the net. Come on. Come on. Hey. Back of the net. Come on. Oh, that's what we like. That's what we like. Let's get him out. He's gonna flip. I can tell it. Let's get the hook out of him. They're just nailing these baits today. Absolutely nailing them. He doesn't want to come easy. I don't want to hook myself. Right, let's see if I can sort this situation out here. It's always a bit of madness when you hook into fish and it goes on a run. Everything's going on at once. Right, come on, I can get him out now. Come on. Come on. Right, ready? Here we go. Booty. Another nice bar of silver. Cracking condition fish that absolutely hammered that live bait. Just screamed off right in amongst where all these birds are feeding. Happy days. Right, let's talk bass quickly. So there's the sounder there, as you can see, 14-15 meters, pretty reefy, and there's a few marks on the bottom already, which is great. Here's the rod. Still working with the black minnow number 4 in khaki. Excuse the messy boat. As you can see, a hell of a lot of tide ripping through here. This disturbed water is a really good sign. And all we're doing is casting down tide, letting it sink. Give it a few seconds. 5, that's enough. And then just bringing it through, sort of working it up and down the water column, finding where those fish are. Bass love tide, and they'll use it to their advantage to feed on the feed on the mackerel and lawns and other small fish that get brought through by it. Oh, there's a fish. Whee, there's a fish right on the bottom there. That could be a pollock. Coming up. That could be a bass, and if it's swimming up, he's not big. Yeah, that's a little schooly bass. Hey, there he is. Beautiful fish, aren't they? You just never get bored of seeing them. Never. Every bass is a specialist to the last, even the small ones. And they just love those black minnows. As I was saying earlier, you can change the colour sometimes, vary it up a bit, see what they're feeding on. Sometimes they prefer bright, sometimes they prefer naturals. He obviously liked the natural khaki. Back he goes. See how long it takes us to get another one, shall we? Exact same method as before. a nice bit of flow over there. I mean, they can be feeding right on the bottom or just below the surface. You never really know, so it's worth trying all area, you know, all depths of the water column. That one was quite close to the bottom. Beautiful day. The wind hasn't picked up as much as it was forecast to, which I'm really glad about, because it could have, oh, that's a good fish. That inhaled it then. Absolutely inhaled it there. Look at those head shakes. You know that's a bass. You just know that's a bass. When it starts shaking like that, there's nothing else that does that. It could be a bigger fish. He hasn't gone on a run yet though. It feels heavy. Beautiful. Absolutely in my element right now. Fish after fish and nice weather on the boat. You just don't beat that, do you? Come on. Up you come. Feels like a heavier fish. Come on. Is it a bass? No, it's not. That's a good pollock, that is. Ooh, ooh. Turbo mode. That's a good pollock, that is. Good pollock. Hey. There we go, look at that. That's a lovely fish. Woohoo! Absolutely smashed that black minnow. Let's get him in. Beautiful, look at that. That's a great pollock. Come on, let me go you. Let me go you. There we are. Stunning colours. I wonder what's supposed to go there though. Maybe a net popping out. Come on. Right in the corner there. Using pliers, save damaging the black minnow body there, because they are fragile. Come on. Making a bit of a meal of this, aren't I? There we are. Come on. Up you come. Beautiful spring pollock. Lovely colours. Lucky day, backy day. Right, let's see what's next. I'm going to keep rolling, as they say in the movies. Keep rolling. I'm just focusing on the lures right now, because you know they're producing some fine fish. Live bait was doing the trick earlier, but this is a funner method of fishing, without a doubt. Tie the boat up a bit there. Oh, that's a bite. There's a bite there. Oh, that's a fish. Yes, there we go. And again, I don't know what it is though. Could be a small bass. Small fish, that's for sure. Fighting pretty shallow. A schoolie. Yeah, there he is. Oh, there's a big fish behind him. What is that? What is that? There's a big fish following it then. I don't know what that was. Don't know if it was a bigger bass or not. But self-release, back he goes, ideal. Black minnow is on fire today, that lure. Come on, let's get that lure back out. There was something big following it then, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was another bass. They will do it sometimes, bass though. If they see another, you know, another fish on it with a lure or chasing something, they'll be interested and they'll come and have a look. Really not doing much with this lure, just jigging it through the tide and you know, all those different currents. There we go, that's a better fish. Hey, beauty. Oh, come on. That's another bass, I reckon. There's just loads of them. Loads of them. Very easy fishing. Hey, where is he? Tell you what, it could be a heavier fish that. He's pulling all right. He's pulling all right. Come on, where is he? Where is he? Wind's howling through a bit now. Oh, Lovely bass. Lovely bass. That. Look at that. This is amazing fishing, guys. Amazing. I go to say one of my best for numbers and size. That's not a small fish. Lovely belly on it. And there's just loads of them. Get them unhooked. Put your finger in the gill there, and you're not going to get spiked then. You can get a good grip to unhook that lure. Beautiful, beautiful Cornish bar. Let's get your finger out and send him on his way. Well, I've come back in now, pretty obvious. We've picked up quite a bit. Just getting a pleasant sort of tide now. Into a really good day. Great fishing. Lovely to see so many bass hitting the lures. Yeah, fantastic sport. So yeah, hopefully you learned something about how to find some fish maybe. And I hope it helps you catch. Thank you very much for watching as always. Really appreciate the likes and subscribes. Almost at 1,000 now, so yeah, it's a big milestone. I'll always keep pumping out videos, and hopefully you guys will watch them. So yeah, thank you very much. You can follow me on Instagram